Alright, so here we've got the Volkswagen Mark IV Golf. I almost forgot the name of my car. That's bad. I'm Wynter from the Left Pedal, and today we're going to be reviewing the Mark IV Volkswagen Golf. Alright, so here we've got the Mark IV Volkswagen Golf. It's actually a TDI and not a GTI. It gets mistaken all the time, especially since there's no emblem on the back stating that it is a TDI. Personally, I like the TDIs a little bit more because whenever you tell someone it's a TDI instead of a GTI or even a TSI, people's faces tend to drop a little bit. They're pretty shocked when I tell them it's a TDI. So here's the difference between a TDI and a GTI. The TDI usually stands for turbocharged direct injection, and GTI usually stands for grand touring injection. Basically, the difference between the two is simply there's a 1.9 liter engine with a turbo for the TDI. TDI specs on horsepower and torque really is nothing special stock. My model is actually the last year they kept everything the same until the numbers spiked up, but not much still spiked at all. So the power for a Volkswagen Golf, again, it's nothing too special, especially if you have it stock. So for a diesel, mine has a turbo, but it's got an upgraded turbo. It's only a 17 because that's the biggest that you can get in here. Unfortunately, I would like more boost, but it's whatever. Stock horsepower on a 2003 Golf created 90 horsepower at 3,750 revolutions per minute, or otherwise known as RPM. In 2004, they gained a whole extra 10 horsepower by changing up the fuel injection system. The torque on a stock Golf up until about 2003 created 155 foot-pounds of torque at 1900 RPM, and then it jumped to 177 foot-pounds in 2004 and remained that way for about 2 years. Mileage is actually pretty great for this little TDI, especially if you make mods to help your gas mileage get higher. In general, for any TDI that Volkswagen produces, it gets about 32 to 41 miles per gallon in the city and about 41 to 49 on the highway. Now, of course, if you add bigger tires and wheels, it'll drop some, but it still remains in the average. Only crappy part is that for a TDI, we tend to have to pay a little more for gas, but we can go a little longer without having to refill. Alright, so the drive for a Volkswagen Golf, it's pretty alright. If you have a stock suspension, it's the one that I had. The car was already driven around 210,000 miles. So the suspension was it was like driving a cloud pretty much. Now I have Bilsteins on here and the ride's a little bit more stiffer. It's not as stiff as I would like it to be just yet, but she'll get there eventually. Otherwise, the suspension on a Golf, it's alright. It's nothing too special. Alright, so a few years back, Volkswagen actually had a whole scandal with their TDIs. There was a whole issue with the EPA saying that Volkswagen was not following the Clean Air Act. So therefore, Volkswagen had to stop sending TDIs over to the US because of the violation. It basically just wasn't, the TDIs weren't doing anything good for our air, hence the Clean Air Act. So Volkswagen actually had to stop sending diesels over to the US, so what's over here now is over here, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so all in all, the Mark IV Golf isn't all that bad. You can get yourself a normal car that gets you from point A to point B, but I prefer to get to point B and something that looks pretty sweet. Yeah, sure, there's plenty of memes about the Volkswagen, like the check engine light being on, but, you know, if you've got thick skin and you can handle it, then I would get a Volkswagen. It's pretty awesome. Despite all the negative things, Midnight sure gets a whole lot of looks and head turns. Being a part of the Volkswagen community is pretty awesome, and normally everyone's pretty cool. I actually had a straight pipe bug before I had this guy right here, and it was pretty awesome. Having the bug is actually what started my whole Volkswagen craze that I have going on now. But I do like this guy a little bit more because the... You okay? Okay. I forgot what I was saying. But because I've always had that dream of driving a Volkswagen, I now get to drive this awesome car every day, and it always puts a smile on my face, without a doubt. That's it. This has been The Left Pedal. We put out videos every week. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next week. No, please don't. I don't want to see human poop. I'm fine.